Hello, friends. Welcome. Wow, that shocked me. Hello, friends. Too much ice cream. Hello, friends. Welcome to Eyes to See. Am I getting stuffy? This is where we examine what it takes to build a vision beyond the bullshit narrative. This is a weekly show that I try and do during the week, not Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So today's Thursday, and we're going to do it. And tonight we got a doozy. This one I basically just wrote it to myself. And I came an hour late because I was trying to shorten it, but it didn't work. I basically went back to the original. But it is what it is. And you're going to get a lot out of it if you want to stick with it. I don't recommend going on 1.5 speed on this one. But take it in bites. Maybe listen to some of it today, some of it tomorrow. See if you can make any sense of it. Or maybe even give me some advice on how to make it better. Because I think we're getting somewhere in this. My goal with Eyes to See was never clear from the beginning. But now that I've slogged through 6 essays, see, the thing about writing essays is that it forces you to think about, to kind of just vomit up all your thoughts and ideas, let them run together, see if they work. If you don't ever have to do that, then you just think in the back of your mind, you got all these things that you believe, but you don't really sort them out. I'm trying to think of an analogy for sport here. Track and field, because that's what we're doing now. It's kind of like assuming you know what you can run a mile in without ever running the mile. Not only not running the mile, but not training to run the mile. And that's what we're doing here. We're training. And hopefully we can get to where our eyes can see. All right, here we go. This is essay number 6. I don't know which. I think this is episode 11. So we skipped a few essays, but this is definitely essay 6. The title is... Give me a second. If my freaking headphones start doing this weird shit again. Check, check, check. Do you guys hear it fizzing out every now and then, or is that just my headphones? I was like, there's nobody watching. Oh, no, there's 2 people watching. Do me a favor. Subscribe. We're trying to get the subscriber number to 8888. Also known as 8,888. I think we're at 8,880 or 81. So help me out a little. Also a like, maybe some comments, but I will not read any comments until I'm done reading the paper. So here we go. Essay number 6. You cannot see clearly while living falsely. A man says he wants the truth. He says he's tired of being lied to. He says he's tired of the propaganda, corruption, media manipulation, political theater, institutional cowardice, and all the managed blindness that passes itself off as public life. This man wants to know what's really going on. He wants to see clearly through the narrative BS. He wants to be the kind of person who is not easily deceived. But when a correction comes from his wife or a friend, he cannot bear it. He can't stand to be confronted with the same standards he holds the world to. A friend tells him something uncomfortable and he immediately gets defensive. The man's bank account tells him the truth about his habits, but he calls it bad luck. His body tells him the truth about his actual discipline, and he calls it just getting older His children reflect his impatience back toward him, and he calls them difficult. His calendar shows him what he actually values, but he insists he has just been so busy. His phone shows him how easily he is owned, but he says he's only staying informed. That man may hate deception in the world, but he has made a quiet treaty with deception in himself. In the last essay, we talked about why deception works. Deception works not only because the elites manipulate, not only because institutions lie, and not only because media systems distort reality in ways that serve power. Deception works because it finds something in us that wants to cooperate. It finds a resentment. It finds a fear. It finds a lust. It finds laziness wearing a costume of busyness. It finds the inner part of a person that wants to be satiated more than wants the truth. There is a certain pleasure in blaming this deception entirely on someone or something else. But that pleasure gets ruined the moment a man sees the deception in himself. There's a great temptation in political commentary to imagine the problem as something out there. Out there are the liars. Out there are the corrupt officials. Out there are the corporate interests, the intelligence agencies, the bot journalists, the controlled opposition, the useful idiots, and the professional managers of perception. That's quite a list, huh? I just thought of all the dirty ass people in the world. However, if the whole problem is out there, then I get to remain untouched. I get to condemn all the dishonesty in the world without ever confronting my own. I get to rage against manipulation, but protect the inner appetites that make me manipulable. Manipulable. Is that even a word? So I'm manipulable. Manipulable. And I get to rage against the manipulation, but protect the inner appetite that makes me be able to... Okay. I don't know if manipulable is the right word, but manipulatable might. I get to expose corruption in public while keeping the lies in my own life quiet. Power has never been bashful about protecting itself. It does not usually announce its motives plainly. It covers them up in noble language. It calls control safety. It calls censorship responsibility, cowardice prudence, greed growth, and decay progress. That is how power survives among civilized people. It doesn't need to look evil. In fact, evil usually becomes most effective when it has learned to look responsible. A person cannot reliably detect deception in the world while practicing deception in his own life. That's probably the thesis. Basically, you can't see the deception if it's in you. Well, you can't see the deception outside of you if it's in you. We're getting there. We're getting there. However, he may occasionally be right. He may stumble onto a true information. He may expose a scandal, repeat a fact, catch a contradiction, or notice the machinery moving behind the curtain. But if he has not learned to tell the truth about himself, his truth-telling will always be unstable. It will be selective. It will be tribal. It becomes another instrument of his own pride. And pride does not see reality. Pride sees only threats to its own importance. Pride sees insults, enemies, excuses, and opportunities for self-defense. It can be very intelligent. It can quote books, cite sources, make arguments, and sound morally serious. But under pressure, pride does not ask what is true. It asks, how do I avoid looking bad to others? How do I avoid humiliation? Humiliation, the act of being humbled, opposite of pride. We do not only lie because we believe false things. Very often we believe false things because the lie is in us protecting something we want. A man wants comfort, so he adopts a worldview where comfort is wisdom. Think about it. These are good. There's a little list of like 5, 6 things. And each one of them holds that truth. So check it. A man wants comfort, so he adopts a worldview where comfort equals wisdom. A man wants resentment, so he adopts a worldview where his bitterness is actually labeled justice. See? So his comfort, you give me sure. Oh, that's just me being wise. And bitterness, that's just me being justice. A man wants power, so he adopts a worldview where control is compassion. You know what I should have done is put those as, or control is portrayed as compassion. A man wants resentment, so he adopts a worldview where his bitterness is portrayed as justice. See, that makes more sense. A man wants lust, so he adopts a worldview where his restraint is portrayed as repression. He wants lust, so he adopts a worldview where restraint is repression. I don't want to be repressed, just let me have my lusts. A man wants cowardice, so he adopts a worldview where silence is portrayed as maturity. Let me write that down real quick so I know how to change it. Is portrayed as, if I can even read that. A man wants laziness, so he adopts a worldview where endless words replace action. Too many words. There's actually too many words in this essay, but I digress. We like to pretend that seeing clearly is mostly about having access to the right information. Find the right source, read the right article, follow the right podcaster, discover the hidden document, Epstein, watch the forbidden interview, Epstein, assemble the facts, connect the dots, then finally you will see. But information can only expose a lie. Character determines whether you can survive the exposure. Truth is not merely an intellectual problem, it is a moral one. Truth has consequences. It interrupts the life you have arranged. It exposes the excuses you have been feeding yourself. It may force you to apologize. It may require you to change your habits. It may separate you from a crowd whose approval you still crave secretly. It may show you that your enemies were not entirely wrong. Your ops and your allies were not always honest. Friends, it may reveal that the thing you called discernment was actually just suspicion. And the thing you called courage was actually anger, looking for a noble covering uniform. A person who wants truth must become the kind of person who can withstand the truth. You do not drift into clarity. You drift into your appetites. You drift into comfort. You drift into whatever flatters you most efficiently. Clarity requires discipline, because the first enemy of clear sight is usually not the lie told by another person. It's the lie that keeps your own life undisturbed. This is why humility matters, not the fake humility of saying, I could be wrong, while secretly believing everyone else is too blind to see what you see. Not the theatrical humility that performs modesty in public and nurses superiority in private. Real humility is not thinking less of yourself in some sentimental greeting card way. Real humility is the willingness to have reality interrupt your self-image. Most people are willing to admit they are imperfect in general. Almost no one enjoys being corrected in particular. General imperfection costs nothing, but specific correction demands payment immediately. Stay with me here. It's easy to say, I am a sinner. It's harder to say, when I told you that thing, I was lying to you. It's easy to say, nobody's perfect. But it's harder to say, I was cruel to my wife because I wanted to win more than I cared about how she felt. It's easy to say, I struggle with discipline. It's harder to say, I have trained myself to be a quitter when things stop rewarding me. The general confession protects the ego. General. But a specific confession will kill the ego. Specific. Bro, that almost sounds like a proverb. Bet we could tighten it up into one. Or a Confucius? Where were we? A person who cannot confess specifically cannot see clearly politically. Okay, let me say that again, because this is where it gets important to politics. A person who cannot confess specifically cannot see clearly politically. He or she will always turn every public question into a theater for his own innocence. He will search for the guilty parties outside of himself because he has refused to face the guilt within himself. He will become very skilled at detecting hypocrisy in opponents and very blind at seeing it in the mirror. This is how people become easily governable. Easy to govern? Give them external villains, and they will not ask about their own problems. Give them slogans, and they will not ask for definitions. Give them enemies, and they will not ask what appetite in themselves is desiring to be fed. Give them outrage, and they will mistake emotional stimulation for moral seriousness. A population that cannot repent can always be manipulated. And that word may sound too religious for politics. But keep in mind, politics has been borrowing religious words for years while pretending not to. It speaks of justice, liberation, redemption, guilt, purity, progress, judgment, confession, and belonging. The difference is that politics often offers an absolution without transformation. It tells people they can be cleansed by hating the right enemy. It tells them they can be righteous without ever becoming honest. It tells them they can belong to the saved simply by repeating the approved dogma. That is not moral formation. That is a liturgy for cowards, and both sides do it. For those of you not ingratiated into the church, liturgy is like the pomp and circumstance of the church. All the rituals and the things they do. So, you see, a liturgy for cowards. And both sides do it. This is not a left-wing problem or a right-wing problem. If you're waiting for me to hand you a clean villain, you have missed the whole point of this series. The line between good and evil does not run neatly between parties, platforms, flags, classes, races, or cable news audiences. It runs through each and every single human heart. That means it runs through the activist, the patriot, the professor, the preacher, the journalist, the billionaire, the bureaucrat, the dissident, the skeptic, the voter, the non-voter, and the man sitting in his truck convinced he has everyone figured out. It runs through you, and it runs through me. And because it runs through us, the discipline of seeing clearly must begin before politics. It must begin in the small places where lying still might feel harmless. The small lies matter because they train perception. When a man says he will do something and does not do it, he is not merely failing at a time management. He is teaching himself that words do not have to correspond to reality. That one is really bothering me recently. I cannot stand when people say they're going to do something and they don't do it. But you see this in them. We're off script here, right? And it could be the littlest things. And I don't know why I've had such a new awareness for this, but maybe it's because having kids or the age that I'm at, that they're at, I just can't stand it. Note to self, if you say you're going to do something, do it, come hell or high water. Or if you know you can't do it and you need to change your plans, notify the other party as soon as possible. You can tell I have a bitter taste in my mouth. All right, where were we? Carry on. When he spends money he does not have and calls it necessary, he is not merely making a financial mistake. He is training himself to rename his desires as needs. Like I said, I'm writing this to myself. When he scrolls for 2 hours and says he was researching, he is not merely wasting time. He is practicing straight up self-deception using a glowing rectangle as his tutor. Eventually, the mind adapts. It becomes very good at protecting the life addicted to the appetites of the flesh. This is how a person becomes blind while still feeling informed. He may know the names of senators, agencies, donors, lobbyists, judges, commentators, and foreign leaders. He may understand policy better than his neighbors. He may have a folder full of articles and a head full of arguments. But if he is dishonest in the ordinary places, his knowledge will bend towards his appetites. Knowledge does not automatically purify the knower. Sometimes it only arms him. This is one of the reasons competence matters, not because competence makes a person morally superior, but because competence forces contact with reality. If you grow something, build something, fix something, raise children, run a business, coach a team, keep a home, care for animals, work with your hands, or submit yourself to any discipline where outcomes cannot be faked, you learn something that pure commentary rarely teaches. Reality does not care about your explanations. The plant does not care that you meant to water it. The engine does not care that you watched 3 videos. The child does not care that your intentions were good while your attention was absent. The unpaid bill does not care that your feelings are complicated. The scale does not care about your theory of health. The scoreboard does not care about your potential. The harvest does not care about your slogans. Reality is wonderfully rude. It tells the truth without asking permission. A person who has regular contact with reality becomes less impressed by rhetoric. Not immune to it, but less enchanted by it, less deceived. He learns to ask different questions. Does this work? What are the trade-offs? Nothing is free. What does this produce over time? What incentives are being created? Who benefits if I believe this? What kind of person does this require me to become? And those are dangerous questions because they puncture slogans. They slow down emotional stampedes. They expose the difference between words that illuminate reality and words that merely arrange fog into a pleasing shape. This is also why self-command matters. A person ruled by appetite will always prefer narratives that excuse appetite. He will call freedom what is actually slavery if the chain feels pleasant enough. He will defend corruption if it gives him access. He will defend censorship if it protects his tribe. He will defend cruelty if it punishes someone he resents. He will defend decadence if it flatters his desires, and he will defend cowardice if courage would have cost him his comfort. Some solid lines in this sucker. See how I used the C words like 12 times there? Cowardice. He will defend cowardice if courage would cost him his comfort. That's freaking good. The appetites are not neutral passengers in the human soul. They are lobbyists. They petition the mind day and night. They draft arguments. They hire language. They fund campaigns. They whisper, "This is reasonable. This is necessary. This is who you are. This is what you deserve. This is what everyone else does." And if conscience has grown weak enough, the appetites eventually write the policy. That is true in a person. It is true in a nation. A society's politics will eventually reflect the inner disorder of its people. Not perfectly, not mechanically, but over time, a people who cannot govern themselves will ask to be governed by somebody else. A people who cannot tolerate discomfort will vote for the illusion of safety. A people who cannot tell the truth in their own homes will not suddenly become courageous truth tellers in public life. A people addicted to spectacle will be ruled by performers, actors, athletes. A people trained by resentment will be ruled by those who know where to point it. This is why eyes to see cannot merely mean having sharper opinions. It must mean becoming less bribable. Less bribable by comfort. Less bribable by rage. Less bribable by belonging. Less bribable by the pleasure of being told that your side is innocent and the other side is evil. Less bribable by the narcotic of constant information that never becomes wisdom. You see me draw these lines. I started to go through this and highlight just the banger sentences, which I guess that's what people do when they highlight. I was always the worst in school about paying attention, listening, taking notes, highlighting, going over the notes, studying. Definitely the worst. And I got straight A's. Strange. At least the classes that I showed up to. Anyway, I like that one. The narcotic of constant information. That's... Almost there, folks. Seeing clearly requires a kind of chastity of the mind. Not prudishness, not withdrawal from the world, but a refusal to let every appetite climb into the judgment seat, driver's seat. The mind must learn to say no. No to the flattering narrative, no to the easy villain, no to the cheap certainty, and no to the argument that wins too quickly because it never had to pass through conscience. This is where courage enters the picture. because truth usually costs belonging before it grants that clarity. Cost before it grants. Get it? There are truths you can admit privately without much trouble, but the moment you say them aloud, the price appears. A friend stiffens. A tribe becomes suspicious. An audience grows quiet. A door closes. People who praised your honesty when it wounded their enemies suddenly become concerned about your tone when it wounds them. That is when you learn whether you wanted truth or merely the reputation of truthfulness. Many people want truth tellers the way children want to be heroes, want to be truth tellers. They imagine the glory and forget the wound. They picture themselves standing against the mob, but only if the mob is made of people they already dislike. They want the romance of courage without the loneliness of obedience. But truth is not impressed by our branding. It asks a simpler question. Will you tell it when it costs you? Will you tell the truth when it costs you? Will you tell the truth when it makes your side look bad? Will you tell the truth when it weakens an argument you've held forever? Will you tell the truth when it reveals that your motives were not exactly pure? Will you tell the truth when it requires an apology that you would rather avoid? Will you tell the truth when it forces you to stop calling your vice a personality trait? That's the test. Not whether you can spot lies in the speeches of people you already distrust. That's easy. Not whether you can ridicule the hypocrisy of strangers on the internet. That's entertainment. The test is whether you can remain obedient to reality when reality humiliates you. Humiliation is one of the great tutors of clear sight. Not because shame is good in itself. Shame can become poisonous. But humiliation, rightly received, can puncture the fantasy that we are already honest, already wise, already above deception, and return us to the ground. And the ground is where human beings belong. But the modern world hates the ground. It teaches people to live in abstraction, image, identity, narrative, performance. It invites everyone to become a brand, a commentator, an influencer, a victim, a revolutionary, an expert, a member of an audience forever applauding itself. It offers 1,000 ways to avoid the ordinary disciplines that make a person solid. But solid is exactly what clear requires. A solid person is not perfect. He's not free from error. He's not above manipulation. But he's begun to build an internal life that does not need constant flattery to survive. He can be corrected without collapsing. He can doubt without becoming cynical. He can admit fault without inventing a new villain. He can change his mind without feeling that his soul has been stolen. That kind of person is dangerous to systems of deception. Not because he knows everything, but because he's harder to buy off. You cannot easily govern him with panic because he has practiced restraint. You cannot easily herd him with belonging because he has learned to stand alone. You cannot easily seduce him with slogans because he has learned to ask for definitions. You cannot easily manipulate him with resentment because he has taken responsibility for his own life. You cannot easily drown him in information because he has learned the difference between explanation and competence. That is the kind of person who may begin to see. Not perfectly, not absolutely, not with the false certainty of the fanatic or the fashionable confidence of the expert class, but patiently, humbly, with eyes trained by conscience, reality, and discipline. This is what modern politics does not want to produce. Modern politics wants dependence with opinions. It wants people who are emotionally activated but morally underdeveloped. It wants people who can repeat language but cannot define terms. It wants people who can identify corruption elsewhere but not any in themselves. It wants people who are outraged enough to be useful and distracted enough to remain governable. A truthful person is not useful in that way. He is too difficult. He asks why. He asks, what does that mean? He asks what the proposed solution will produce 10 years from now. He asks why the same people who caused the problem are requesting more resources to fix it. California. Sorry. He asks what part of his own soul is being appealed to. He asks whether his anger is righteous or merely enjoyable. That last question may be the most dangerous one because anger can feel like sight. Anger sharpens the world. It simplifies. It gives the mind energy and the body purpose. It makes everything vivid. For a moment, anger can make a man feel awake. But anger is a terrible master of vision. It notices what wounds pride and often misses what would heal a soul. There is such thing as righteous anger, but righteous anger must remain obedient to truth. The moment anger begins selecting evidence, assigning motives, and excusing cruelty, it has stopped serving truth and started serving the self. This is why clarity requires more than mere suspicion. Suspicion can notice something is wrong, but suspicion alone cannot tell you what is true. Suspicion can tear down a falsehood, but it cannot build up a life. Suspicion can expose corruption, but it can also become a prison where every fact is interpreted as confirmation of what the suspicious person already needed to believe. A man who suspects everything may still be deceived by his suspicion. That is why the goal of this show cannot simply be to distrust more, because distrust is not vision. Cynicism is not wisdom. Suspicion is not courage. A person can reject every official narrative and still be ruled by lies if he has never learned to govern his own soul. The point is not to become paranoid. The point is to become truthful. And becoming truthful begins in places too ordinary to impress anyone. To tell the truth about your habits, to tell the truth about your motives, to tell the truth about your excuses, tell the truth about what you have neglected, tell the truth about what you pretend not to know. Tell the truth about your appetites, what your appetites have cost you. Tell the truth about the little bargains you have made to be comfortable. Tell the truth about the resentments you secretly enjoy because they relieve you of responsibility. And if you do that long enough, the world begins to look a little different. Not because the world becomes less corrupt, but because you become less eager to be flattered or deceived. That is where political clarity begins. Not in the news cycle, not in the election, not in the algorithm, not in the next scandal that proves what you already suspected. It begins when a person becomes less available to the lie. A society full of self-deceived people will always be easy prey for those who manufacture deception. Rewind that. Listen to it again. But a society made up of people who tell the truth in the small things becomes much harder to rule by illusions. Not impossible. Human beings remain finite, fallen, and vulnerable, but harder. Harder to frighten, harder to flatter, harder to herd, harder to purchase. And maybe that is the best we can honestly ask for in this life. Not omniscience. That's all-knowing, all knowledge, omniscience. Not perfect certainty. Check out my last paper. Not complete immunity from deception. But the best we can honestly ask for in this life would be the formation of people who love truth enough to suffer personal correction. That is the unpopular implication. Most people do not lack access to truth. They lack the character required to stop protecting the lies that makes their lives easier. That should bother us. It bothers me. Because it means the problem is not merely that the world is full of deceivers. The problem is that I have been a willing deceiver myself. I have bought explanations that excused me. I have preferred narratives that comforted me. I have mistaken being informed for being formed. I have wanted truth in public while resisting it in private. And if that is true, then the work ahead is more serious than simply exposing lies. The work is becoming the kind of person who no longer needs the lies. Before asking why the world lies so easily, ask why the lie still finds such a comfortable resting place in your being. And that's not an insult. It's an invitation. Because the person who can finally say, I have been blind, may be the only person ready to receive eyes to see. The end. "12 pages. I try to keep it below 10, but this one kind of got out of control. But it's important. We've now laid the roadmap. What's the purpose on this show? To talk shit about the other side? There's plenty of shows that do that already. A few times we watched Twitter and got a kick out of it. And check my YouTube, see if any of you 3 viewers have subscribed. Oh, look at my thumbnail there. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through this together because maybe you didn't see the thumbnail. But what are we doing here? See that up there? Oh, that's us. Eyes to see, vision beyond the narrative. The eyeball is shooting a laser, a Jewish space laser, into the Capitol dome. Yeah, that's funny. Anyway, let's go to our channel and see if we got to 888. We are at 888, but are we at 8888? And where is it that you find the... No, it only says 888. But I'm happy with that. So please, don't anyone else subscribe. we would hate to go to like 8,900 or even 9,000. We would hate to go to 10,000. I mean, that's too many zeros, isn't it? So don't tell your friends. Don't send this to people that you think might enjoy it, because we don't want this thing to grow. We just want a tight little chat around the fire with 3 people listening to me rant and rave about whatever pours out of my brain. That sound good? What is the Flock of Watch channel is a community-driven YouTube channel built around curiosity, conversation, and real-time learning. At the heart of the channel is the Grow Show live with Flock of Watch, the original nightly show. Actually, their first show was the Nugget Show. 11 p.m. Mountain Time when no other show is scheduled. And then I pushed it back to 11:30. And then I pushed it back to 11:55. And then I started late. But if I get it within 11:55, then it publishes that day. It's a beginner-friendly, community-first conversation about home cannabis cultivation and home gardening. This is basically an ad for my channel. You're going to have to sit through it. Sorry. Should not be sitting through any ads because I am a non-monetized channel, as they so often tell me. Where was I? It's a beginner-friendly, community-first conversation about home cannabis cultivation and home gardening, created to be the show I wish I had when I was a new grower. The Little Nugget Show follows every Denver Nuggets game with thoughtful, fan-first post-game analysis, mining the small but meaningful nuggets of insight from each matchup, live from the gold mine, which is my basement. Unfortunately, that's going to be on pause for the next 6 months because the Denver Nuggets are no longer playing basketball. Know what? No. I'm going to do one on Sunday. That's right. I'm going to do a Little Nugget Show on Sunday. It's like the post-season analysis because I have too many things that are popping in my head. But that's for only those of you obsessed like me with the Denver Nuggets. Eyes to See. That's this one. Policy and the Lost Art of Reason. Ooh, I forgot that was my original title. And I changed it to Narrative. Vision Beyond the Narrative. Eyes to See, Policy and the Lost Art of Reason. That's pretty good too. It is weekly current events and politics show focused on clear and reasonable thinking. That's where we're headed here, people. You cannot see clearly when the plank is in your own eye or the corruption is in your own soul. On Faith and Doubt is a monthly discussion exploring philosophy, theology, morality, and life's deeper questions. No outrage, no yelling, just real conversation in a community that learns together. Come and see. 155 videos, 770,000 views. All right, folks, we're going to either get to 10,000 subscribers or 1 million views, and then we're going to hang it up forever. I can say, I got my 1 million views. I got my 10,000 subscribers. I'm done. Or we can just keep coming back every night. You keep not sending it to your friends and family and people that you think might be interested in it, and then they won't watch it, and then we absolutely will not grow to 100,000 people, and then I absolutely would not be able to make a living talking shit on the internet like all these dumb fucks that I see. But I will always continue to talk shit on the internet because it's a beautiful thing. See, I've published all my ideas in my ship talking. Like, eventually my brain is going to literally run dry. Maybe. But someday my children, my grandchildren, and their children will be able to come back and listen to the wisdom of their great-great-grandfather. What could I do? What would I do if I could go back to my grandfathers and hear what they had to say? They wouldn't have said as much, I can tell you that. There were simpler times. But who among us has that? No one? No one has unless your great uncle was Nietzsche or somebody. So I don't think he had kids. Authors that wrote books. That's what you have. Why is it that the words hold the strongest connection to reality on the earth? The videos aren't going to stay, but the words always will. And the words mean more. Well, we get any comments? No comments. How dare you? I don't really want to spend too much more time, but let's do 10 minutes since we can get to an hour. And when we get onto YouTube here, we're going to go, or no, wait, not YouTube. Let's go to X, because that's where all the good shit is. I don't think my X feed is actually See, I get so distracted. I just watched the OKC Thunder and the Lakers. The flopping. Dude, OKC is about to get torched for flopping. Who is that guy? Fucking Malcolm X wannabe? The fuck's going on here?
He'll walk out by himself. Back. Boy! Yeah, let Rep Pearson go. Let Rep Pearson. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You stupid mother. He'll walk out by himself. Back. Boy!
What the fuck's wrong with you? Fuck is wrong with you? Boy! Nah, I have a dream. So is he Martin Luther or is he Malcolm X? Whatever, he seems to be a fucking poser, I can tell you that. I don't know anything about this. What? Everyone's title. Boy! Oh, come on. Now is that the only fucking thing that I have to see? Oh, no. Chimaev kicked him in the nuts? Ooh, that's a hell of a kick, actually. Dana's just like, what? Shit. You know what Chimaev or what John Strickland needs to do to him is do a fucking Jorge Masvidal flying knee to Ben Askren's dome. Because you know in the first 10 seconds, motherfucker's going to go for a crotch sniff. Hit him with the knee. Hit him with the knee. Do a little sidestep. Da-da-da-da-da. Let him shoot and go knee. Boom. This is becoming MMA. Yeah, you want to talk shit? You want to talk shit? You want to talk shit? I ain't talking shit. I'm going to kick you in the nuts. Yeah, I'm going to kick you in the nuts and smash you nuts. I'm going to smash you. Boom. That was a pretty good kick. Not going to lie. Chet with the massive flop. He's getting so ridiculed for that. Oh, here we go. Wait, what? The development of Malcolm X.
Working with organizations from the Boone Democrats to the Boone.
So they're saying that this guy is this guy 10 years ago? I mean, that makes sense. You can look younger. Although black don't crack. What the fuck's going on down here? Dude, I would just drop them one by one. Blah, blah. The bodies would pile up so big they couldn't get in the door. You break into my freaking store like that? Are you kidding me? Hoodlums, huh? Yeah. The store owner, pull your fucking gun out and start popping people. Bap, 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 bap. Mag change. Bap, 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 bap. They'll turn around and run off. I guarantee with 4 or 5 of them squirting, leaking, they'll turn around and run off. All right, let's get back to this guy because...
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of BSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation? I wanted to do this by partnering with organizations from the Boone Democrats to the Boone Republicans. I want to bring together different voices, dissenting voices, voices that may be more liberal or more conservative, in order that we can reach a point of sort of the radical middle.
Here, you've had 3 strikes laws, mass incarceration, denied us of who we are, and we are still here. And today, you'll take the only majority black district from us. But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and break us and make us bend and make us quit, we will still be here.
Well, that wasn't that good, dude. I do like...
Justin J. Pearson.
I do like the mustache. And the fro. Love it. Well done. Wait a... I don't know about this shawl? Robe? But honestly, your rhetoric was not that good. Like, I could probably do a better job faking it. I understand what you're saying, but I could have easily done a better job. But the argument was standing. He's claiming that the legislators removing representation from the one black district. No, all these districts have been set up based on race. And turns out the Supreme Court said you probably can't do that. Actually, you just can't do it. Backfired. So there's our crime. What do we have here? Did all this shit happen in Tennessee or what? Tennessee passes new congressional map. Is this guy Persons from Tennessee? What are they doing? Having a meltdown. Protesters have an absolute meltdown. Show me the protesters. Noise making devices. Yeah, fuck you, dude. I don't even want to hear that. A bunch of entitled little pansy ass. Elections have consequences. Oh, please tell me this guy runs somebody over. What the fuck is this? Oh, Paris. My God. Paris is no longer Paris. A 17-year-old boy was stabbed. 23-year-old motorcyclist killed. 192 injured, including police officers. 1 in a coma. 559 arrests. 264 burned cars, looted, shop display, vandalized stores. Chantilly. Francais. Yeah. You get what you let in. Muslims declare from Dearborn to New York, one nation under Allah. Should these people be deported immediately? Since when are the Muslims getting freaking tattoos? Turns out if you pull that fucking sword out in front of me, I'm going to shoot you between the eyes because that is a deadly weapon.
Good God.
Exquisite.
Whoa, whoa, what's going on?
I heard some noise.
From Dearborn to New York, only one nation, under God.
Exquisite.
Whoa, whoa, what's going on?
I heard some noise.
Okay, maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's a joke. Huh, let's go. You guys reading that with me? You'll be pleased to know that Arian Wexler, your fabulous humor, noticed the U has arrived in Britain from America. I don't understand that, but this is naughty. She compares Muslims to pit bulls. They're not all violent, but almost every violent. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Give me some of that.
Theo's like, he's such a sweet boy. Anyone knows dogs, like he's a classic lab. Theo's like, he's such a sweet boy. Anyone knows dogs, like he's a classic lab. He loves everyone, wants to play with everyone, but I won't let him play with pits. Because the thing is, pit bulls are like Muslims. By the way, the few people who aren't excited about this are the pit bull owners in this room. Listen, they're not all violent. Most of them aren't, but somehow almost every violent attack happens with them. They're like the Al-Qaeda sleeper cell of dogs, you know? You'll see a pet for years, so happy, so sweet, and then they get a signal that we don't see, and they're activated, and your face is torn off. And then you have some liberal white woman defending it, saying that you shouldn't put it down, and that somehow it was your fault. They're like, well, all the ones that I grew up with were super peaceful. Great, we should put them in our dog parks, because it worked out so well in all the other dog parks, right? This is a breed that was they made it just recently. It's meant for illegal fighting. And we have to pretend that all those years of inbreeding and raising them from a young age to fight, like that just goes away and suddenly they're westernized, domesticated.
Dude, she's torching it.
And you have to wonder if it's a practicing pit. And you know, this isn't a metaphor for anything.
Yeah, I like that. Let's give it a little bite.
Theo's like, he's such a...
What am I missing about LA here? This is what happens when you stay off the internet. Something going on in LA?
Karen Basura is a communist. Karen Basura is a communist. Now, when I was 19, 20, I was living in an apartment on Skid Row.
Basura. Trash. Spanish for trash. If I'm not mistaken, Karen Bass is the mayor of LA. And the revolution history during the race for mayor in LA. Let's see. This guy's running against her?
Getting my political science degree at USC. That's as LA as it gets, dude. But do you know what Karen Basura was doing at that age? You guessed it, going to Cuba to support the communist revolution and Fidel Castro's oppressive regime? What? Karen Basura is a card-carrying member of the Communist Front Group, the Venceremos Brigade, an anti-American communist solidarity organization in which she actively worked for years to undermine the U.S. and prop up the communist revolution in Cuba? Does this sound normal to you? Who in the heck spends their 20s supporting a violent communist dictatorship in a foreign country? What were you doing at 19 years old? Some reports have shown that Karen Basura's communist organization was actually involved in intelligence training ops on behalf of the Cuban regime, and some of the members actually bombed the U.S. Capitol in 1983. There's a legitimate possibility that Karen Basura is a literal communist spy, which actually might explain why such an experienced politician has been so effective at destroying America's greatest city in just a few short years. Well, now you know what her experience is. Some of you may not remember, but she was actually the front runner to become Joe Biden's VP pick for 2020. But that went up in flames almost immediately once people dug up her commie past and saw her foreign sympathies in statements following Fidel Castro's death when she called it a great loss. She used to refer to Castro as comandante en jefe. And for those of you who don't habla español, that means commander-in-chief. Now, I don't know about you, but the President of the United States is always my commander-in-chief, but not Karen Basura. Her commander-in-chief is the communist dictator of Cuba. Right now, Cuba's in the news because the oppressed people who have suffered under the horrific communist regime are rising up to fight for freedom. You'll notice how much Latino immigrants, and especially Cuban immigrants, hate communism because they know firsthand how evil communism is. They have experienced the empty store shelves, the decrepit infrastructure, the choking censorship and surveillance, the secret police thugs, the death and destruction that Fidel Castro and other commie dictators ushered in. Communism is responsible for more mass death in just the last century than anything else in the history of the world. Over 100 million people have been killed by communist regimes in China, Cambodia, the Soviet Union, from forced famines, purges, gulags. Communism is an evil, anti-human ideology dressed up as some idealistic form of equity and fairness, and yet somehow it always ends up with millions of people dying in forced labor camps or starving to death. Communism is just a religion of malcontents where instead of worshiping a righteous God, they worship the state. And whatever the state says goes. We don't learn enough about the evil scourge on our planet, and communism is genuinely evil. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It preys upon the malcontents of society to fuel the revolution. But America never fell victim to this ideology. We didn't have enough malcontents to fuel the revolution in America. You had the ability to actually work your way into the American dream. You could buy a home, have your own slice of American soil, raise a family, speak freely, worship freely. But now, as that gets more and more out of reach for young Americans, and especially young Californians and Angelinos, there's a growing population of malcontents, angry, jaded, cynical, and that is exactly the fertilizer that communists like Karen Basura use to seed the revolution. Notice how the riots are increasing, burning cars, smashing businesses, looting, stopping the freeway, attacking police officers. You all can see communism starting to take root because lifelong communists like Karen Basura have made life harder and harder here, and that is on purpose. Well, guess what, Karen? This ain't your Cuban commie kibbutz you're running. This is Los Angeles. This is America. I still believe in the American dream, and I'm not going to let you turn LA into your tribute to your comandante en jefe, Fidel Castro. Our Latino brothers and sisters have seen the evils of communism and they are done with it. So let me help you out, Karen. I'll take your job and you can go retire in Havana. We are going to restore the dream that Los Angeles used to be. Go to mayorpratt.com and donate. Support my campaign. And unlike the communists like Karen who want to take your money, I want to earn your money. And I will make it my life's mission to earn your support as mayor of Los Angeles.
Well, you'd think that guy would win, but you know how elections go. Dude, that Shep thought it's all that's on that. And then that. What the fuck? Huh? This is kind of funny. Let's see if we can get into trouble with this. Oh, she's not going to say it? God dang it. That one's funny over here. Don't you die on us. Black Lives Matter once every 4 years. Girl, just so we're clear, I am blacker than you. Browner? Darker? I'm not gonna about to let a white man tell me what racism is. Yeah, racism is just generalizing. It's like what would be the best explanation? Anytime you generalize, you look like a fool anyway. But we all do it to some degree. But a racist generalizes people based on... See, I don't even think it's race. It's more of culture. And think that all people are the same because they have the same whatever. But I got news for you, girl. Anyone can be racist. Dude, that was such bullshit, too. You could even see the OKC fans in the back like, damn, at least give him the bucket. It was a hell of a shot. Watch. This chick right here, behind the bench right here. Right there. She's like, yee, I think it was good, bro. Yeah, I just watched that game. Okay, let's go Minnesota. Tell me I got friends and viewers up in Minnesota. Minnesota Democrats have voted unanimously to block a requirement to remove dead people from the voter rolls. They're running out of ways to cheat. What's this tool bag saying?
11. I recognize a member from Olmsted, Representative Quam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This is just to require the full removal of deceased people from the voters' rolls. And if before you ask, well, nobody deceased is voting, the federal system
Come on, dude.
at SSA
Oh my goodness.
has checked registrations and has...
So you're not the best spokesman for this point they're trying to make. I'm not going to lie.
flagged deceased people registering in the state of Minnesota. It's not a huge thing, but let's take care of it by cleaning up the roll. Oregon is doing it, and other states are doing it. So
do not appeal to Oregon. Just remove dead people from your voter rolls because it's fucking common sense. How about that? Voter roll. The purpose of a voter roll is boom. That's a fucking linebacker right there. Oh, see, I like this way better. Show me.
Court-fed Fred coming up.
Head on a swivel, eyes on your target, same foot, same shoulder, send him to the gulag. Teach tape. Boom! Same foot, same shoulder. That's a tackling. Oh, poor Christian Brown. Let's see.
Now the Regal Beagle Bar. Now he's wondering if the alcohol's kicking in as he spots something off in the distance. And of course it's Pookie the Crackhead once again. Comes out of nowhere and lands in the perfect spot. Parks his ass right into the handicap zone. Man, talk about having your head on a swivel. Nowadays, you just never know whether you're going to come out of a bar and get attacked by a crazy messy zombie. And all you're trying to do is take a woman out on the...
He dropped his phone, unfortunately. I feel like I know that Kraken.
Town just for a night at the Regal Beagle. And then this happens. And now it's time to add Pookie to the Ludicrous Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
I always hit my left shoulder. Mm-hmm. Gabapentin, the controversial drug doctors are prescribing. Epoch Health. Yeah, that shit's dirty for your brain. Don't take that, please. Don't let anyone lie to you telling you need to take it. If you're taking gabapentin, let me tell you one thing. This is not medical advice. Because I'm not a doctor. But I'm smarter than a doctor. Why? Because doctors get it wrong all the time. Otherwise, everyone that they treat would be healthy. But they don't. They just treat disease. Anyway, get your ass off gabapentin and start taking C-Lank peptide. Look it up. C-Lank peptide. Look it up. It's probably like $50 a month at the least. You don't have to take it every month, so it's struggling in your brain. Don't buy into that bullshit. Why are we turning this into health? Well, because I can do whatever I want. It's my show. Oh, I need to go to bed. I am absolutely enraged when it comes to pharmaceutical abuse. Pharmaceutical abuse is these pharmacies, these pharma companies creating drugs that twist and manipulate the brain and then just trying to make gazillion dollars off of it while you're destroying brains. Like, people ain't getting less anxious, I can tell you that. We'll do a simple podcast on health real quick. Health is... Actually, we can't be simple. We cannot be simple about it. What's AOC have to say? You can't earn $1 billion. You just can't earn that. That's correct. You can't. The fuck is this? Please tell me this makes her sound dumb.
There's a certain level of wealth and accumulation that is unearned, right? You can't earn $1 billion.
That's right.
You just can't earn that.
That's exactly correct.
What? You can get market power. You can break rules. You can do all sorts of things. You can abuse labor laws.
Yep.
You can pay people less than what they're worth.
Yep.
But you can't earn that, right?
That's
And
right.
so you have to create a myth that since you didn't earn that, you have to create a myth of earning it. There's a certain level of wealth and accumulation.
Okay, so these people are running our country. Should you not have a basic intelligence test before you're in Congress? Speaking of intelligence, what does Mr. Billionaire himself have to say? I just love people that hate billionaires.
You wrote the thesis.
Right, that's
so
right.
You could have been
I think you still have a copy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I sent it to you and,
right, exactly. I have that on email.
Yeah.
So we're not making this up. You know, it's
No,
like,
no, it's real. I have the proof. I found my
real,
parents.
right? Exactly.
Yeah, but the
This was
thesis
20 years ago.
Yeah, but the thesis that was about that was Google, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you could have made Google.
We could have made something, I think, similar to Google 20 years ago. Yeah. As a Wharton thesis, it was. Yeah.
But now Tesla.
And actually, I'll tell you some funny other things, which is there were two other things. So two other things, sort of independently. There was sort of the Google thing, but then there was one on ultracapacitors for use in electric cars, so energy storage for electric cars, and one for solar panels or solar systems.
Okay.
So it's I'm no Johnny come lately to these industries.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Unfortunately, of the three of them, you actually picked the two worst Google.
I'm having trouble making sense of that, but Elon Musk.
You wrote the thesis.
For what reason? He was saying that, 20 years ago I wrote a thesis at Wharton. I assume he went to Wharton School of Management. And he could have created Google. Well, I like Grok better than Google, so let's roll. Let's roll. Mr. Elon Musk posted Mr. I always want to call him Mark Cuban because he's Cuban. Why can't I picture his name?
For America at a time such as this?
My hope for America?
And how
the
do you
same as always
personally
been.
deal with that?
Yeah, look, I mean, my hope for America is what it's always been. I think it's the hope I hope we all share. We want it to continue to be the place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, where you're not limited by the circumstances of your birth, by the color of your skin, by your ethnicity, but frankly, it's a place where you are able to overcome challenges and achieve your...
Marco Rubio. That's why I call him Mark Cuban. That's crazy. I forgot Marco
America is what
Rubio.
it's always been. I think it's the hope I hope we all share. We want it to continue to be the place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, where you're not limited by the circumstances of your birth, by the color of your skin, by your ethnicity, but frankly, it's a place where you are able to overcome challenges and achieve your full potential. I think that should be the goal of every country in the world, frankly, but I think in the U.S., we're not perfect. Our history is not one of perfection, but it's still better than anybody else's history, and ours is a story of perpetual improvement. Each generation has left the next generation of Americans freer, more prosperous, safer, and that is our goal as well. But it is a unique and exceptional country, and as we come upon this 250-year anniversary, I think we have a lot to learn and be proud of in our history.
Let's go, Mark Cuban. Marco Rubio. Different people produce different cultures. This isn't racist, is it? Oh, shit. Kicker. Stop using your hand. Well, I guess she doesn't have shoes on either. Okay, the girl that's getting beat needs to fight back. That's funnier than shit. Let's see what the subway has to offer.
Gotta be fucking kidding me, boy. This motherfucker got his fucking headphones on. Told me to motherfucking put my fucking... He told me to put my speaker down. And he got his motherfucking headphones on. You out your fucking mind, my man. I want to fucking cut you. So shut your fucking mouth then. So shut your fucking mouth then. Mind your fucking business, you fucking bitch. Why you had to jump out there? You got fucking headphones on, you fucking bitch. What, you think I was a fucking punk or something? Yeah, that's the best thing you better do, nigga. Move, you bitch ass motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you gotta do. That's what you better do. Yeah. 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 You don't want no drama with me, motherfucker. I'll cut your fucking face open. Are you fucking serious? You gonna tell me to fucking put my speaker down? And you got fucking headphones on? I'll fucking cut your fucking face, faggot. You know I'm fucking right, miss.
Don't record.
Yeah, so what the fuck you gotta mind your business then? Mind your business then. So mind your business then. Mind your business then. Mind your business then. Call the cops then. Call the cops, stupid bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. Suck my dick. Whoever wants with me, let me know. I'm ready.
Oh, God. Why doesn't this shit happen when I'm on the subway? Oh, my goodness. I'd be like, I'd stand up and be like, yeah, motherfucker, you gonna cut me? Yeah, I'm gonna cut you. Like, you got a knife? Yeah, I got a fucking knife. He pulls it out, acts all tough, and then pop, pop, pop. 2 to the chest, 1 to the dome, set him right down on the floor, take the room temperature, the subway car temperature challenge. People got to stop putting up with this shit. I mean, I give the guy with the headphones props for walking away because I would never be able to do that. And he kind of made him look stupid and he got him pissed off. But, bitch, please, you don't need to be playing your fucking speaker in the subway car. Not going to lie. I can't stand it when people play their speakers on the fucking golf course. Like, have some respect. I can't stand it when people listen to their phones out loud. Like, bitch, please, you don't understand. We got fucking headphones now. The greatest invention of all time are AirPods. 24/7. Hear what you want to hear. And we don't have to listen to your dumb shit. So, yeah, I probably would have had a hard time surviving that encounter. Or somebody would. Love freaking X.com. Wake up America. Let's see. We like to wake up.
And in all of world history, you're not doomed yet, but in all of world history, there has never been a civilization that has so opened its doors to another civilization that is openly hostile to it. So this is unprecedented, what's happening. Your ancestors of Europe, and I describe it in my books because I write about history, fought tooth and nail to prevent Islam from entering and conquering Europe.
That didn't work out.
Because that
well.
was one of the grand plans that went on for century after century from the east. The Turks were trying to enter Constantinople. They surrounded Vienna in 1683. And before that, the Muslims, I told you, went up into Tours in France in 732, 1,000 years later. This was an actual goal. And now Western Europe is saying, oh, none of that matters. It was a misunderstanding. Come on in. But they haven't changed. That mentality, and when I say they, that's obviously, I'm simplifying. The mentality that I've described is part of Islam. It's an Islamic concept. So the Islamic State, you're told, oh yeah, they have nothing to do with Islam. They've twisted it. No, they haven't. They are a representation of what Islam, the caliphs, the sultanates, the emirates, that's how they operated. The heads of Islam, the grand imams and the muftis said the same exact thing. Okay, so that is what it is. Again, it's not my point to arguing, oh, well, this particular migrant wants to conquer you. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's looking for a good life. I understand that, and that's what makes it complicated. But to just open your borders completely to that demographic, which has within it, not all of it, but within it, that kernel of animosity for Christians and so-called infidels and the imperative to conquer the world in the name of jihad for Allah, which they're the good guys, keep in mind. They never see themselves as the bad guys. This is one of the issues with all conflicts. They're not bad guys. They're good guys in their minds. You're the bad guys because you're infidels, and they're trying to bring the light of Islam to you. So that's another aspect of how moral, or the morality that they feel. They're the good guys, okay, in doing this. Because look at you, Denmark and Europe, you're all dissipated drunks and, profligates and, there's no real... I'm sharing with you their arguments because I read it and I hear it. So they're bringing to you goodness, okay? But before, your ancestors, because I guess they had their own social order and their own goodness, and it was called Christianity, were able to fight it. But I guess in this current void of sort of this atheistic climate, anything goes, and who's to say they're wrong? Maybe they're right, etc., etc. And now you have what's happening. So it's a very unprecedented experience. A lot of people talk about the Roman Empire, this sort of thing happened, but it didn't, and we can get into that. It was actually, they were still cognizant of trying to maintain their own social, cultural mores, Rome. And it fell to the Goths and the Germanic peoples. And I'm just saying, some people use this analogy, but in this case, this is completely your doing. Not you, but it's Europe's doing. Okay, you're bringing a hostile force that's openly hostile, and lo and behold, when I look where Muslims are, I see chaos and violence and criminality and rape and grooming in England. Okay, that's what always happened under Islam. Okay, so is there a hope? I think so. I hope so in time, but it's so bad that it even had to get to this point. It's such an abnegation and betrayal of your own heritage, of these men and women who fought and died to preserve.
Plenty of good stuff there. Let's see what... I love AI videos from Donaldo Trumpo. Papi Trumpo. Am I not following him? Why am I seeing it if I'm not following him?
Penis is actually quite the... My wife's penis is about this big. My wife's penis is about this big. And to be honest, having a wife with a huge penis is actually quite the challenge. Not just for my butt, but also for like tucking it and shit. Like taping it to her leg and things like that. I mean, we're trying to go out dancing and all of a sudden this huge dangling dong starts moving in her pants and shit. And people notice the dangling. Dong. They all stare at Michelle's dangling dong. There's no way of hiding it. That thing is huge.
This could be good.
And how Black Americans really created democracy in this country. That's exactly
That's exactly right.
From nothing.
This woman really just said Black Americans created democracy in this country. That is... Guys, this is a leader in the Democratic.
And how Black Americans really created democracy in this country.
That's exactly right.
How they literally made something from nothing.
This woman really just said Black Americans created democracy in this country. That is... Guys, this is a leader in the Democratic Party. These are the type of intellectuals in the Democratic Party. And you got the girl, whoever the other girl was talking about some, yeah, that's right. That's right. No, that is not right. That is anything but right. These people are ignorant and delusional. And then they hype each other up while in the act of being ignorant and delusional. The founding fathers are what brought democracy to this country. And they weren't Black. Like, she's literally out here rewriting history. And again, this woman is over there like, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what's so crazy to me.
That's funny. Like, you don't have to lie. Democracy was established in Greece many years before. But the concept of the republic, the democracy there within, that was brought by the forefathers of the country. That's obvious. The Federalist Papers, the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. I hope someday I can have time to read that kind of shit. Maybe AOC should read that kind of shit too, because, girl, I don't understand what you're trying to say. How many more can we do? Did I go past an hour? Fucking Twitch. Yeah, we definitely went past an hour. Shit. What time is it? 1:30. I gotta go to bed. But, you know what we talk about? I'm basically getting informed here as I scroll through the mindless bullshit. Bulgaria is based. Let's hear it. We like based.
People of Bulgaria, if they really agree with that statement. On a scale of 1 to 10, how racist are you?
Middle. Yeah, I would say the same.
Well, most people are at 0, so technically you are kind of racist.
Great.
Would you ever live in an apartment full of Black people?
No, that's like a refugee camp.
Why are you racist?
My grandfather was racist. My father is racist. I'm racist. It's in my DNA.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how racist are you?
11.
What would you say to all the immigrants?
Get out. Go to Asia. Go through Asia. You have a country. You have own country. Fight for your country. This is your country. This is my country. You're not welcome here. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I don't feel bad for that. Yeah, I'm a racist. He is racist too.
Yellow people are shit, and also like Black people are shit.
Yellow people? Why? Who are the yellow people?
The Asians.
Would you let a Black person date your children?
No.
Why?
Because of the bloodline, to be continued white. Not other country, not other, or Arab, or Muslim, or must be Christian, must be white.
Must be white.
We are a different race.
Is Bulgaria racist?
Yes.
Do you think the majority of Arab kids are taught how to make bombs?
Yeah.
If you had the choice, would you kick them out of the country?
Yeah, of course. 100%.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how racist are you?
7, I'll say. Yes. I hate every, how we say it, religions? Not religions, like ethnicities.
Ethnicity? You hate every ethnicity?
Yes.
Tell me about an experience.
We're cross-passing and then out of nowhere start making some animal noises, something like this. Typical racist things.
Yeah. Saying the N-word.
Yeah, it's like a hello word.
Yeah. So in Bulgaria, the N-word is a hello word.
Yeah.
Instead of saying hello, you say nigga, right?
Yeah.
What animal noises specifically?
Well, monkey, for example.
Ooh, I love this kind of stuff. Burning
So check this out.
scammers.
So I get all these spam calls from this on this phone number all the time, right? Yeah, a bunch of them, right? So what I've done is I've created a script in JitBit. What this is going to do is it's going to call them back, right? It's going to wait for them to answer.
Thank you for calling Express Florida.
It's going to interact with the prompts automatically. And when they answer, it's going to play Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. So now, and then he hung up. But see, what you don't know about this script, though, is that I have it on repeat. It's a zero loop integer I put in here. So it's going to keep calling them back over and over. It's going to keep doing this forever until they're forced to block my phone number.
Transferring now. This call may be recorded.
Thusly eliminating them from ever spam calling me because they have my number blocked.
Okay, dorky dad. I understand, and your daughter is definitely patronizing you, but it's not as cool as you think it is, dude. No more bullshit. I remember that.
Game playoff winning streak going back to Game 7 of last year's NBA Finals. And the Lakers wanted to spend a little extra time with the officials before heading to the locker room. Game playoff winning streak going back to Game 7 of last year's NBA Finals. And the Lakers wanted to spend a little extra time with the officials before heading to the locker room. Game playoff winning streak going back to Game 7.
You bitch. Yes, America. I squeeze off your leg, man. You was tapping and all the time.
Squeeze up. Shut the fuck up.
I squeeze all juice out of you, man. You bitch. Yes, America. America love me, bro. You bitch. Nobody loves you.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All of these guys love me. Nobody loves you. Only your daddy loves you.
Let me tell you about this.
I beat you up. I ain't gonna beat you up, too.
Let me tell you about this fucking. See why I call you a coward. This is why you're a
tell the
animal.
people like you daddy beat
you're a fucking bitch.
Cry
You'll
here
never
now.
be a fucking American.
Cry here now.
You are a fucking
You're gonna
coward.
cry, bitch.
You are a
You're
fucking
gonna cry,
coward.
bitch.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Sit down, shut up.
Yeah, you're a
Gonna sit
shut
down.
up. You know, like through you guys, man, I've changed my life. I didn't have to go
You
suck up.
cry now.
I gotta
Gonna
go suck
change
up
your
a
life.
dictator.
I'm gonna change your life.
But I changed my life.
Start to cry.
And I
Start
fucking
crying
love you
now.
guys. And I can't wait to go kill this.
Change your life.
You ain't gonna do shit, go fucker.
I gotta change your life.
Go
You ain't gonna
fucker.
do shit. You ain't gonna fucking bully
I'm gonna
me.
bully you. I did that
You ain't gonna do
before.
shit, bro.
I gotta bully you.
I'm gonna send you back to your
gotta bully
fucking
you,
daddy
man.
Cudero. You ain't gonna
what?
do shit.
So
You
what?
ain't gonna do shit.
So what now? You talk so much shit about me. Now do something.
Yeah,
you shoot me. Shoot me, bitch.
Oh, it's so tough to watch people talk shit in a second language. What is this? Phil Labonte. What? Look at all these old people with their little hats. God damn, I didn't realize it sounded so insufferable. Shit, dude. That's like the worst fucking music I've ever heard. What? Okay, I really gotta go, but this is the last one. A man spends 50 years teaching at MIT. He knows his time is running out, so records one last lecture. Everything he knows distilled in a single hour. He died 5 months later. Is this an hour? Son of a bitch. I think if I repost it, it'll be able to find it. Let's hear the beginning.
The Uniform Code of Military Justice specifies court-martial for any officer who sends a soldier into battle without a weapon. There ought to be a similar protection for students, because students shouldn't go out into life without an ability to communicate. And that's because your success in life will be determined largely by your ability to speak, your ability to write, and the quality of your ideas in that order. I know that I can be successful in this because
this guy's on to something for sure. That's what I've been telling my kids forever. It's like, I don't care what you learn in school. If you can show me that you can learn to read, speak, and write. Because they say the pen is mightier than the sword, don't they? I do like swords. Even ones that throw little pebbles, also known as guns. But I still think writing is the ultimate vehicle for truth and change. If you don't believe me, go back and listen to the beginning of this episode. A 12-page foray into self-actualization. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say bye to you. Make sure there's no comments. And see if we got any more subscribers. Oh, I didn't see that. Uh-oh. I'm broadcasting myself. That's gonna... Look, people, just go to this and hit that. I don't know if this is going to be an echo reverb, but I muted my screen, so it might be. Actually, if I turn... There we go. Welcome to Eyes to See, a weekly examination of the world that profits from blindness and fears those who pursue truth. The show approaches current events and politics from a deliberately contrarian position to interrogate assumptions that have become untouchable. This is not a left versus right shouting match. We begin the work upstream by dismantling language itself. Yeah, see, we've been working on that. Terms like left, right, progress, freedom, authority, and justice are stripped of tribal meaning and rebuilt from first principles. If you don't control definitions, deception reigns supreme. Eyes to See treats politics as downstream of deeper forces, power, incentives, fear, moral cowardice, and institutional self-preservation. Each episode assumes evil is real, incentives outweigh intentions, and systems fail not from ignorance, but because they reward the wrong behaviors. The goal is orientation, helping viewers see clearly, retain moral agency, and refuse deception in a world that is increasingly punishes perception. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the description of Welcome to Eyes to See. And how do we get out of here? Okay, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go back and watch that guy as I get ready for bed. Oh, what time do I have to get up? Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come back at 11 o'clock, more or less, I think we're doing a grow show because tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, they're all grow shows now. So Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday's going to be a Little Nugget show, a special edition of the Little Nugget show post-season analysis and synopsis. So join me for that tomorrow and the next few days and every day, every night, the rest of this year until we're done with one full year, live streaming 11 p.m. Mountain Time. Good night. Rest easy. Sweet dreams.